Crystal, you traveled to Paris. How were your accommodations?
My accommodations were not very accommodating, but I can't wait to get into all the mistakes that I made.
Yeah, you have a slight story about your accommodations.
I have a very bad story. We'll just say, long story short, 2 words you don't ever want to utter on a vacation. Bed bugs.
Oh.
So you're going to learn how not to do something like that, hopefully.
Bed bugs and the City of Love, all in the same episode. Imagine you could visit the City of Love, avoid bed bugs, stay in the hot parts of the city, and not break the bank. You can. Today we're going to dive in with travel expert and the woman who's literally written the book on affordable stays in Paris, Caroline O'Connell.
Woohoo! And then at the end of this episode and every episode, you'll hear our gear of the day pick. So if you're looking for best-in-class gear that's worth the price, head on over to our page at stackingadventures.com/gear of the day or GOTD. You'll help the show and you'll help yourself adventure better and for less money.
And guess what? We've got a very special gear of the day today.
Yes, we do.
Ready for adventure? From vacation to staycation, and from the mountains to the beach. This is the Stacking Adventures podcast.
Welcome back to the Stacking Adventures podcast. Adventures, this is where we head around the world and we hear your stories. Every traveler has a story. We hear yours on the show. And today we are going to hear a fantastic story from a woman, Crystal, who knows where to stay in the City of Love.
Woohoo, Paris. Lovely, lovely, mon chéri, Paris. I don't know if I said anything French.
I know. People are going to hear us mispronounce French places so often in this episode.
We apologize in advance, for the pronunciation. Because I do, when someone says, do you speak French? I'm like, oh yeah, un, deux, trois. See?
What does that mean, once or twice?
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Oh,
I know the first 3 numbers.
I don't even know that. The woman who may know what you talked about there, and she also knows not just affordable lodging, she knows romance in Paris. She knows all the places in Paris. Caroline O'Connell joins us. Caroline, how are you?
I'm very good.
I'm
lovely to be on. I do know more than hotels because I wrote another book called Every Woman's Guide to Romance in Paris.
I know.
We have hotels, restaurants, everything.
I know.
Can we pivot to that? I need to find the romance. Would love to find it.
What about Crystal is going to Paris to find romance? Can you help there, Caroline? Can you hook her up?
I can't. Actually, that was the inspiration for the very first book decades ago because I had a romance in Paris. And I said, this should be bottled. And I wrote it up in a book. And I even wrote Where to Meet French Men. And I had a page on romantic French phrases that the men say to you, like, I throw myself at your feet and it's wild. Je me jette à vos pieds.
Okay.
It was pretty funny.
Okay, Crystal's already got the credit card out. She's buying your book, book right now.
Yeah, so you just got a sale.
How many times, Caroline, have you been to Paris?
About 40.
Wow.
But I also lived there for a little while. I had an apartment near Palais Royal.
For our adventurers who haven't been there, what is the allure that brings you back over and over again?
For me now, it's like going home. I have friends there, and I go to see certain exhibits, eat in certain restaurants. So for me, and I don't mind the plane ride. So it's like someone goes to New York once a year, I go to Paris once or twice a year to experience that life. But for the first timer, it's just so eye-opening. You feel like you're in a movie. It's a beautiful city, lovely cafes on every corner, world-class museums. I don't think any city can be beat. And it's pretty small in the center. It's very doable. It's not too spread out.
We thought when we went one time, Caroline, with my daughter, it was her first time in Paris, and my spouse, Cheryl, and I were going, and we were trying to show her some of the sites, and we logged our mileage. We thought, because it is so walkable, we thought we were just having fun walking around. At the end of the day, we had walked a half marathon. We'd walked 13 miles up and down the beautiful river.
And you don't even realize you're doing it If you're in shape, you can do that. I used to do that when I'm younger. Now I hop on the Uber when I'm there. Thank you very much. But yeah, you can walk it.
Yeah, I think my feet were the first thing to notice it.
Yeah.
My feet were like, wait a minute, what's going on? Walk us through some of your favorite parts of Paris before we get specifically into lodging. What are the must-sees for the first-time traveler headed to the City of Love?
I think you start with the islands in the Seine River. So you have the river running through the center of the city. And in the river, you have two small islands. And many people say that was the origins of Paris many years ago. So that's really the heart of the city. And that's why people were so upset when Notre Dame Cathedral burned down. Didn't totally burn down, but had the fire, because that's really the center of the city. There are other churches in Paris, but Notre Dame is it. Luckily, they have refurbished Notre Dame. I was there a couple of months ago. It's beautiful. So I would start with the islands, and you move then to what's called the left bank, which is below the river, Saint-Germain de Prés. And that's my favorite neighborhood now. It's charming, walkable, and lots to see and do. Museums, art galleries, shops. On the other side of the river, you have the Louvre Museum, and that's called the first arrondissement. And next to the Louvre, you have the beautiful Tuileries Gardens, and you have more. It's a little more upscale. You have the very fancy hotels and bigger streets, bigger boulevards.
I haven't spent that much time in Saint-Germain-des-Prés. I've spent way more time. We stayed when we went the first time up by the Opera House, which really seemed to be, for me, a central location. Let's get into where to stay. And I know there's a little bit of a price versus being central thing, but you really have, before we get specific about hotels and about areas, I know, Caroline, you say in your new book on this topic that you've got a couple guiding principles when it comes to finding the right hotel for you in Paris. What are a couple of those guiding principles?
The first is you want to stay in the center of the city. Now, I'm curious where that hotel that will not be mentioned by Crystal was located.
Yeah, where was it, Crystal?
I know I was able to walk to everything. It was pretty, it wasn't like off, and it wasn't, that's another problem. It was not an actual hotel when I got to it. And this was pre-Airbnb days. So it wasn't even a hotel.
So it was like an apartment rental kind of a thing?
Yes. Yep. Let me see if I can find
because the hotels in the center that are in my guide are all 3 or 4 stars. So they're all very well kept up. We could talk about the star ratings in a minute.
Yeah.
But the reason I chose the areas around the Seine River is because that's it's the nicest, most charming area of Paris. Like any city, the farther out you go from the center, it gets a little more run down. So I want people staying right in the center where everything is right in front of you. Like you mentioned the opera area. That's a nice area. I have hotels in that area. And there's a lot to see and do. Yes. So anything around the river in that center is a good place to stay. Because from there you can walk to just about everything. And it's charming. There's cafes on every corner, little mini parks. It's the charming part of Paris.
I want to start with 2 things because I do want to get into what you mentioned earlier, the idea of star rankings and how these work, which was different than I thought. I had no idea how the star rankings work, and you really do a great job of breaking that down. So 2 things that you did not want to do. Number 1, you make a big point of saying that you don't want to stay at a super budget hotel. A lot of our fans also follow our financial show, Stacking Benjamins, Caroline. And like, wait, I want to save as much money as possible, but you don't want the budget hotel. How come?
I don't want that. I have 1 or 2 stars in the book because they're exceptions. But normally the budget hotel could maybe have bed bugs, could have issues. And if you're going to Paris for 5 days, you want to have a really lovely experience, and you don't want to go back to a beat-up hotel and feel depressed because it's not a nice place to stay. So you really have to look at maximizing your time and having a nice, lovely experience and not budgeting too much.
Man, I am 100% with you. When I was really young and just starting to travel, I thought, you're just going to sleep there. Crystal, you and I were talking about that, how people tell you that all the time. You're just going to sleep there, so who cares? And it totally makes the place when I wake up and I'm in the middle of the action or I'm in a pretty hotel room.
Exactly. It adds to the charm, and the hotels in the guide are part of the Parisian experience. They're run by local families. They have lovely staff. The rooms when you come in, the main rooms are lovely. You could treat it like your own living room. So it is part of the Parisian experience.
Now, bedbugs notwithstanding, Crystal, you also say that you don't want an apartment. And a lot of people look at the Airbnb thing and they think, okay, I'll be in a neighborhood with regular families. Why do you prefer the hotel versus the apartment?
There's a couple reasons. This is for short-term stay. If you're going for a month, that's another story, because you may want to be setting up and living and all that. But if you're going like the normal person for a week, I like having all of the amenities at the hotel. They're making me breakfast in the morning. I want something during the day, coffee or tea. They will make that for me. They will make reservations for me. They have maps. They have information about what's going on. And it's easier for the cab coming in from the airport to find the hotel. And it's easier to get back to the airport from the hotel. You just have a lot more services. Well, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, speaking of, because you started off saying normal person, we do need to define normal person, because some of us are traveling alone, or we're a couple, or we're a family. So that's also, you're defining like what kind of traveler you are in the first place too. Okay, I can do stairs, I can't do stairs. That's another thing where your travel.
Oh, I have a lot on stairs, because I have an issue with stairs, and they do have more stairs in Paris. So they don't necessarily have an elevator to every room. So you have to make sure stairs are important, that you can get the elevator to the room. But the other thing about Airbnb is they can cancel on you at the last minute. And it happens a lot. Oh. I'm on these Facebook groups, and every day someone's hopping on the group saying, help, I'm going to Paris. I have an Airbnb, and they just canceled on me at the last minute. Now I'm stuck. And a hotel will not do that.
Oh, no. That's horrible.
It's common. It's common. Yeah.
We are hanging out on YouTube with a bunch of adventures. MJF is here with us and says, I've been listening to you guys for about a year. Crystal, that's about as long as the show's been around.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
You've been here since the beginning. It's my first time to see you on YouTube. Enjoy the show. Thank you, MJF, for hanging out with us. Adventure John says, just got back from taking my family of 6 to Paris. It was a blast. And Caroline, when Crystal and I were prepping for this, Crystal, you brought this up, that it really, you got to start. You make a big point of this with how many people you're taking and what type of an adventure are you when you go to Paris?
Yes, that's very important. And it is very different if you're traveling with kids versus a group of adults. Crystal, I do go solo a lot to Paris because I have friends there. And that's another reason that I like staying in a hotel, for the security and everything else. As a solo traveler, I really do staying in a hotel. If it's kids, then you need to find hotels that have bigger rooms, family rooms, that kind of thing. And I do list a few hotels that have mini apartments. So it's a hotel, but they have bigger spaces. So one of them is called the Citadine. So you do need to look into all that.
Okay, so this is the point then, as we're talking about room size, because I think people don't just get sticker shock when they go to Paris. They also get room size shock.
Yeah, they do. True.
So can you go over how the star rankings work? Because it's a little different. It's definitely different, Caroline, than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and I've had them explain it to me, hotel managers. There's about 200 or 300 criteria for the hotel. So a whole long checklist. And so you get 3 stars, which means that you're a very nice hotel. If you meet certain criteria and you have certain numbers, but it's not that you must have this or you must have that. You just must have the numbers. But normally a 3-star hotel has an elevator. And normally they serve breakfast and all that. 4-star normally has a restaurant, maybe a spa, all kinds of other amenities because it's 4-star. But with the size of the rooms, that's not really contingent as much on the stars. That's more the hotels being competitive. They know Americans like a decent sized room. So I will say, believe it or not, the rooms have gotten a little bigger.
Oh.
At some of these hotels, like I used to stay at the Marigny in Saint-Germain, and my single room was teeny tiny, twin bed. You could barely move around the bathroom. And now their rooms are a little bigger because they had to make them a little bigger. They're still not big. For example, in the hotel I stay at, I get a room that's called Classique, and the bed is a little smaller than a queen. And there's only a little space on either side of the bed in the room. It's not that big. It does have a long desk along one whole wall. It does have a coffee maker and a mini bar. The bathroom is big. They have really gone all out on the bathrooms now because they know people care about that.
Yeah.
The bathroom, so these hotels are 30, 40, 50, and they're decades old. So they've redone the bathrooms, marble, nice tubs, all that kind of stuff. So the bathrooms are a little bigger, but the rooms are small.
Some of these properties you list have incredible backstories too. Like the backstory is part of the allure of staying there.
It is. And what I started doing is asking the hotel, and some hotels will even have brochures. Ask them what the building was used for before it became a hotel. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating.
We are showing your lovely cat right now.
You're showing Belle. You moved the slide.
Yeah, to everybody who's hanging out live. And Belle looks like the sister of my cat Cooper, who's hanging out with me this morning. But so you and I both have Shetty cats, I see. Belle, I know because we talked about this earlier before we hit record. Belle's traveled with you to Paris. Do most hotels in Paris allow pets, or do you have to be very specific about that?
No, they don't. Because, for example, they have expensive furnishings. I don't blame them. They've got beautiful bed linens. Even in this photo, you can see the drapes on the wall.
You're
and
right.
They have nice stuff. And some cats scratch. And one cat could do a lot of damage to a hotel room in quick time, as you and I both know, since we have cats. So I have to find hotels that allow pets, and sometimes they only allow dogs. And I have to talk them into allowing a cat.
That's why a dog and not a cat, because I feel like a dog could be equally as destructive to a room as a cat.
I do too, but it's the same in the U.S. because I travel with her in the U.S. and most of the hotels only allow dogs.
Because I think
if they allow a pet, they only allow dogs, and specifically they do not allow cats. So it's not as easy as you would think.
Yeah, they know you'll be taking your dog with you, and if you're leaving that cat alone sometimes, maybe all day. I don't know.
There could be that, and some
that.
say you. But I think it just depends on the cat. Bella's very well behaved, and we've been in hotels all over.
Yeah.
They prefer to be left alone. Most cats too.
It's funny. Mine does not. Mine, I don't know about yours, Caroline, but Cooper's more like a dog. He follows me around the house. He wants attention all the time, wants to be in on every conversation. In fact, he's sitting here attentively watching what we're doing right now. I swear to God, if we gave him a microphone, he'd be
it's a good idea. He and Belle could take over the show. She's like a dog too. She's like a dog too. So, yeah.
That is great. I wanted to ask, you mentioned this, and once again, everybody, you're going to hear Joe pronounce some words horribly, some French words horribly, so French. But you said that Saint-Germain is your favorite area now. Why is that your favorite area to stay in of the 10 that you detail in your book?
And of the 10 in the book, 3 are in Saint-Germain. So you actually get 3 areas in Saint-Germain. I talk about the area around the Luxembourg Gardens, which is beautiful. And then the area right around Boulevard Saint-Germain. And then you have the Latin Quarter. They're all in that Saint-Germain area. They're near the river. They're near Notre Dame. You can walk to Musée d'Orsay. The street life is wonderful. There are gorgeous shops and cafes on every block. You feel like you're in a movie. It's just amazing. It's gorgeous.
Can I say, Caroline, that those Luxembourg Gardens, that's my favorite. After being at Paris, I've been 3 times. That's my favorite part of Paris now. Like on the 3rd time, it's just so quiet and so pretty and so relaxing there. What's your favorite place that you find yourself going back to?
For me, it's museums because I studied art, and l'Orangerie Museum is 2 rooms of Claude Monet wall-sized murals of the lilies. And I do actually find that relaxing. And it's in the Tuileries Gardens. So as you step out of Musée de l'Orangerie, you're in the Tuileries Gardens. On one side, on the other side, you have Place de la Concorde, which is the center of Paris. Do you know what made Place de la Concorde famous years ago?
No.
That's where they had the guillotines.
Oh,
wow.
People losing their head to get in
Paris
that space.
has a bloody history. Paris has a very bloody history. Yes.
Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Just
corny joke.
never too early for a dad joke, Caroline.
And then from Musée de l'Orangerie, I would walk across Rue de Rivoli and go to Angelina's tea room.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
for a lovely lunch.
MJF hanging out with us said their general tips: visit as many churches as you can. I you had a slide, and I'll try to put this back up in just a second, but I wanted to take a look at my notes. You had a slide about one of the great churches, I believe on one of the islands, where you can watch like a quartet play some music.
Oh, Saint-Chapelle, it's slide number 9. The concert. I went to a concert at Saint-Chapelle.
That to me, seeing a concert, and I believe that's where I saw. Is that the oldest church on the island?
That I don't know. It is on the same island as Notre Dame. Yeah, I think it's older.
Yeah.
I should know that, but I don't. Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the church. I just remember them saying it was significantly older than Notre Dame. And when they played Bach's Air in G at the end, I truly just got goosebumps because the way it just echoed through this gorgeous building. And you're in Paris and I'm listening to Bach. What could be wrong?
And in this beautiful church with all the stained glass.
Yeah, just
surrounding you. Yeah, that you have to book ahead. Most things in Paris, you do need to book ahead. You can't just walk in because it is a busy city. So you make a list of the 2 or 3 or 4 things that you really want to do, and you hop on the websites and you get your tickets before you go.
That's smart.
We're going to go into some specific hotels. I'm going to bring them up, Caroline, because you've got a bunch of them. So I'll bring them up and we're going to play Test Caroline's memory here in just a second with just a few of these hotels. But because she's got all kinds of different things that these different hotels focus on. So we'll have that in a minute. But Crystal, we've got the music coming up.
Oh, yes. So this is our pit stop, our road trip pit stop. So you're always dreaming about what's at the end of the adventure. How cool will it be when we get there? And you're asking, are we there yet? So it's always a hint at our gear of the day. And you can see our past gear of the day at stackingadventures.com/gear of the day, GOTD. So today I have our hint at what today's gear is. So I'm going to give you a clue. And then you're going to see at the end, we do the guesses now, but then I'll tell you at the end of the show what it is. So we talk, obviously, it's a gear page. We talk about travel tools. So this tool, travel tool, is going to save you hundreds before you even leave home. That's my gear pick.
I wonder what that could be. I'll have my guess right after we hear from our sponsors.
Okay.
So your hint again, Crystal.
It's a tool.
It's a tool that could save me hundreds.
Before you even leave.
To go to any place specifically?
Paris.
To Paris.
It'll fit perfectly in your plans for Paris.
What that could be.
Think about it. Do you have a guess, or do you want to think? What's your guess?
I think I'll wait to the end.
Okay.
For my guess. We're going to go into some specific hotels with Caroline in just a second.
I wanted to even go back to some booking questions too.
Let's do that first.
Because my whole problem, I was trying to book the cheapest. So I forget where I started. I don't know if I started TripAdvisor, but I don't know how I clicked on something on one site, which led me to a second site, which led me to a third site where I was booking. And it wasn't too good to be true. Every time I'm like, if it's too good to be true, there's something wrong. So it is. So I was searching for the best price, and then I just hit, all right, let me book it. So what were the mistakes that I made in that, Caroline?
Okay, so if you're going to a property you've never stayed at before, I do recommend hopping on TripAdvisor and seeing what other people say about the property. This is true for any city, wherever you're going. And some people are not going to be happy with anything, but if the majority of the reviews are good, you know you're okay. But if the majority of the reviews are not good, then you move on because, you know, it's not a good property. So when I'm going to a new city, I always double check the reviews. The second thing you want to do when booking a hotel in Paris is try to book directly from the hotel. Normally, I'd say 98% of the time, they will say on the website, we're going to give you the best rate. Because if you book through a third party, they have to pay a commission to that third party, and they don't want to do that. So they'd rather give you the good rate on their hotel. Maybe they'll throw in free breakfast. Maybe they have a deal. And then look at the guidebooks, talk to your friends. This is something you want to do some research on. You want to spend time on deciding where you're going to stay because that's an important part of your trip.
I love those Parisian cafes. I remember the first time we went, we're on the run, headed to our favorite museum I'm a fan of the Pompidou. Of course, I like them all, but I love modern art. And so stopping by a cafe and picking up a baguette or a croissant and a nice coffee and sitting for a few moments in front of these cool places is a lot of fun. You mentioned in your book that you used to really like that first thing in the morning, but you now prefer breakfast at the hotel.
I do, because they have lovely breakfast rooms now. They're lovely. They're charming. And you have the same staff every morning. So they learn your coffee order and they bring it to you before you even order it. You feel very well taken care of. And normally they have a little buffet of many choices. So I always grab an extra piece of fruit or a croissant or something and keep that in the room for a snack later on. So it's a charming setting, nice service, plenty to eat. And if it's inclement weather, it's much easier to start out that way before you go out.
I feel like there's something, speaking of romance in Paris, there's something just a little bit romantic, even if you're by yourself, which is a way I love to travel too. When it's raining in Paris and you're sitting with a nice breakfast in the window, watching the rain come down. Is there a better place on earth to watch the rain come down than Paris?
No, because the city is still beautiful in the rain.
It is.
It really is.
It's so pretty in the rain.
It's still beautiful in the rain.
Everybody's got the umbrellas out.
Big
and, of
ones.
course, Parisians are known for just dressing fantastically.
And then you get into the trench coats that the women wear that are so elegant. Yeah.
John just got back with his family of 6 from Paris. And John, when we do our adventure episode on this, we definitely have to get your experience of what happened in Paris for you.
Yes, please.
But Caroline, he talks about a place that you had in your slides. He says, make sure you check our Daman Frere Teas, operating their company for 400 years. I think, is that the tea place that you had in your slides?
I have Mariage Frere, that is teas, that is very famous, and they have tea rooms. So the slide, are you showing the slide or?
Nope. I needed to access my notes there. So I keep toggling back and forth.
It's number 13 on the slides, but Mariage Frere has a wall of tea canisters that has like 100 teas, loose teas to choose from.
Ooh.
And then you can order your tea. So I always get plenty of bags to bring back as gifts. And they have a tea room where you sit and have lunch or afternoon tea. So they have 3 or 4 tea rooms in Paris sprinkled around the center of the city. So it's a wonderful place to go.
That's fabulous.
That's what I did for my birthday just yesterday, afternoon tea. And I'm wearing my Paris dress that I made, you guys. It's hard to see it, but I did.
Nice work.
I love afternoon tea. It's one of my favorite things. Yeah.
He also talks about Caroline. He said, also check out the tiramisu just north of the island, an entire storefront dedicated to tiramisu.
That sounds like
goodness.
It's calling my name, all of this.
Are you a big fan of tiramisu?
Yeah.
Yep, me too. Had some last night.
Very creamy. Yeah, very creamy with a little chocolate shaving on top. Yeah.
Yeah, and getting as much tiramisu as you can possibly get.
We did make it.
Although we have to explain that's an Italian dessert, not a French dessert. But yes.
Yeah, John.
We made it when I went to Paris. I took a cooking class and we made tiramisu in the cooking class. We made something else too. We made 3 different desserts. They were delicious.
As I mentioned before the break, I do have some of the specific hotels that you listed, and I wanted to go over these, not so much, Caroline, to test your memories, I was joking, as to just go over just how different some of these places are and how cool they are. I want to start with a hotel near the Louvre that you have called Hotel Elixir. You write that it's a newly renovated boutique hotel. The rooms are small and basic, no frills of modern decor. But this is great. Prices are good for Paris. A basic double room for around 150 euros in the off season. I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
That I could be close to the Louvre, Caroline, for 150 euros.
That's why I put it in the book. But it's off season. Off season.
Yeah.
So one of the big points I make is do not go during the crowded seasons for a couple reasons. It's cheaper off season and you won't have the crowds. Now, the weather is cooler. You might have some rain, but you'll save a lot of money on the hotel. And this is true. All hotels are less expensive off season.
Well, and you're also not going to have the huge crowds you said you like museums. I could just imagine on the on season trying to negotiate the Louvre and actually get anywhere close to any of the famous artwork there when it's on season.
And it's May. I know I went in May and a lot of stuff was closed too for, I don't know why, but was it like a holiday or something? Is that the off season? Like May-ish?
Oh, Caroline, did we lose you? And
did.
I don't think we have Caroline. While we're getting Caroline back.
Connecting. I know. Thanks for all the tips. Thanks for telling us about that entire storefront dedicated to tiramisu, John.
That's so funny.
These are birthday presents telling me about all this good stuff.
Yeah, John and his family. Let's put that on the screen. But because he had a family of 6, he was in an Airbnb apartment, managed to get a killer deal on an apartment on Rue Royale, and had a front row seat to the end of the Tour de France totally on accident. How about that?
That's amazing. Okay.
Oh, Caroline, can you hear me?
Joe?
Yes.
Yep.
My phone cut out.
There we go. Okay. All right. I'm going
Better
Here we are.
It was, the fun of technology. All right.
Yes.
We did talk about how John had a family of 6, so he went with an Airbnb apartment, but he ended up being at the end of the Tour de France and seeing the Tour de France finish by accident. What a lucky accident. It's fantastic.
That would be thrilling.
I know, but
because they know how to throw a party, too. So that would be thrilling to see.
Heck, the party they threw for the Olympics was amazing. I love the opening ceremonies.
They did a beautiful job. They really did. Well, they care about presentation.
Yeah. Very much. I want to go on to another point. There was a point when we lost you that Crystal was asking about, which was when you say off season, Would that be every season except the summer? Or are you talking more like April, May, that time of year?
Off season would be February, March.
Oh.
Then it's really inexpensive.
Huh.
April is good. I usually go in April.
Okay.
Late April. May, you're already getting into almost high season with the prices and even the heat because of global warming. It's getting warmer earlier and earlier. So it can be very warm in May. June, July, August, early September is high season.
Okay.
So it's the most crowded. Now, sometimes in August, the prices will come down because all the Parisians leave town for vacation. So sometimes you'll find some deals in August. But October, November, I went in November and the prices were half at the hotel.
Wow.
Now, December, it gets expensive because of Christmas holiday and the lights and people go for Christmas.
Markets.
But early November is very inexpensive. March is very inexpensive, but rainy. You're going to get rain in March. So maybe the sweet spot is late April and October.
You make a big point of this where a lot of the time people like to find last minute deals. It really is crucial, you say, Caroline, to book early at these boutique hotels.
Yeah, they don't have many rooms.
Yeah.
And that's what the charm is. They're not like a big Hyatt or a big Marriott where every room is the same and there's a million people. These are, it's like staying in someone's home almost. So yeah, they don't have a lot of rooms. You want to book early.
I want to do one more hotel by the Louvre. This is Hotel Louvre Piedmont, I believe. This is a 4-star property. There aren't a lot of 4-star properties in your book. Adjacent lovely Palais Royal has 20 rooms, recently renovated in artsy, rather dark style. Rates run over 300 euros per night, but there's more amenities because it's a 4-star hotel. In their words, to make your stay even more special, ask for our suite with a balcony located on the top floor of the hotel. Ooh. It offers a unique view of the Palais Royal and has a large bathroom. I want to start with this. I want to start with asking, what's it appropriate to ask for when I stay at one of these hotels? Because I would have never thought to say, hey, can I make sure I get a room with a balcony?
When you ask for that room, you're paying more.
Okay.
It's not just because it's a special room, but to even know to ask for the room, to even know that they have a room like that. But if you're just staying at you're booking a normal room, what to ask, you can ask for a quiet room. Most hotels have rooms facing an inner courtyard, which is much quieter than a street view. So it doesn't hurt at all to just say, can I have a quiet room? May I have a room that's reached by the elevator? May I have a room with either a shower or a tub, whatever's important to you there? May I have a room with a coffee maker and a mini fridge? Yeah, all those things you want to think about and ask ahead.
And
then the other important thing is always reconfirm the room a week before you go.
Oh.
And you can send them an email. You don't have to call. Always reconfirm. Things change. Things happen. You want to make sure that you're good.
You don't want that Airbnb experience you were talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And just to put this into context too, I'm getting ready to run my last marathon, Crystal, and Crystal knows this, that it's going to be at Disney, where I ran my first marathon. And so we decided one night to stay on Disney property in Orlando, just one night to enjoy one of the hotels. And I thought, let's stay at one of the nice ones. Crystal, $800 a night to stay at a completely made up place in Orlando, Florida. I can stay next to the Louvre at a 4-star hotel for 300 euros per night if I time it right.
That's wild. Yeah. That's wild.
That's steep for what you're getting.
Yeah, no
and
comparison.
Your flight included. Yeah, your flight to Paris would be included.
Right, exactly. I could probably get to Paris. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Let's move to just a couple more examples. Just gorgeous gardens. Hotel Londres Saint-Germain.
Saint-Honoré.
Thank you, Caroline, because I can rip the heck out of that word. You right. I've been recommending this decently priced hotel for the neighborhood for decades, and I'm glad to see it's still offering visitors good value for a great location. And this is really something that I wanted to focus on too, is that some of these charming hotels. It sounds like you've stayed at this place many times or recommended it forever.
Actually, I've recommended it because I've written 3 guidebooks to Paris. It's a little more budget than some of the other hotels. What I love is it's in that location and it offers good value for money. I stay in a little bit more of a upscale than that one, but if you're looking for budget in a great area, that's good. It's right near a great church. It's a very upscale area around Saint-Honoré. So that's a good deal, especially if you like to shop.
Well, and Caroline, you caution people, even though it's 3 stairs, there's a steep staircase. Like some of these old buildings, if you have mobility issues, you really got to watch out.
Right. And think about this. You're going to the room many times a day. So if you don't want to be hiking up flights of stairs 5 times a day, you want a hotel where you can just walk in and get on the elevator.
You made me laugh with one of your recommendations. I don't know if you remember this, Crystal, but Caroline wrote, this hotel won't break your budget, but the shopping around it probably will.
Yes.
That piqued my interest. Saint-Honoré, the Saint-Honoré area. Thank you for that.
I also think it's important to look a little bit off the beaten path. You have on Marais, Isle St. Louis, Hotel Caron de Beaumarchais.
Oh, Beaumarchais.
Beaumarchais.
Ooh, you did it.
I got close. Small boutique hotel on a quiet street, bit off the beaten tourist track. The rooms are small but beautifully appointed. But it sounds like if you look a little bit around the corner, Caroline, this is where you can find some deals.
Exactly. And that's for people that want to be near the Marais, but not near all the crowds. Yeah. And it's just a few blocks away.
No, that is super. If I can just walk a few blocks and be in the middle of it and not be in the middle. Crystal, you and I talked about that when we were talking about Chicago. I like staying just north of Russian Division, but it's these leafy, quiet neighborhoods, and you go 3 blocks and I've got whatever entertainment I want. Yeah, tons of fun. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't ask about another of your books. We've been talking about Paris and romance, of course, as the city of love. Give us a couple tips there. What are some fantastic low budget romantic Paris experiences that people should grab onto?
It depends what you like, but going to a jazz club or some of the really nice hotels have jazz in the bars. And I just think that is fabulous. And you're in a bar setting, great musicians. A lot of times they don't even have a cover charge. You're just paying for the drinks. Nice. So for me, that's a very nice outing. I also, as we said, I like afternoon tea, but it depends what the couple likes. Fancy dinner. Or the other thing that some people like is, we haven't talked about a river cruise on the Seine. They also have dinner cruises, and you want to look into that to make sure you get one that's not too crowded. But Paris has a wealth of options.
I have had some of the best experiences with Parisian locals, and yet, as Caroline, more than most people, this city gets a rap among Americans that they're very rude in Paris. Why do you think that is?
The French culture is different. So we smile all the time. They don't smile all the time. And they also get a little offended. They do say bonjour.
Yeah.
When you walk into a store, you should address the sales lady and say bonjour. Same when you're entering an establishment, and merci at the end. And Americans will just walk in and say, "Can I have a table?" without acknowledging the person. So that kind of puts them off. But they are very friendly, and they are happy to have Americans visit. We are big business for them.
I have had, I found my analogy has always been when I'm in the most touristy areas of Paris, it's just like the most touristy areas in New York, and the rude people are just rude to me in a different language. So I get more offended.
My goodness.
But if I was in Times Square and somebody was rude, I would just shrug my shoulders and go, "It's New York. What do you expect?" It's New York. I got to tell both of you ladies about an experience that I had, because I'm also wondering, Caroline, if you have a story like this. We were in the Tuileries one day, and we're walking along, and there are one of these artists set up in the middle of the pathway, and he wants to do those portraits of you, right? You sit in front of him, pay him a little bit of money, and he'll take some chalk and he'll sketch. But he's really looking for his next victim. So there are these people that are dressed in black. And then there are people that are in tracksuits, like these big satiny kind of tracksuits. And then there are my spouse, Cheryl, and I, and we're walking toward the guy. And as the people in black get in front of him, he looks at them and he speaks in a harsh Eastern European language. I think it was Polish, but I don't know. But it certainly sounded Polish. And then he turns to the next people after they tell him no, clearly say no. I don't know what the word was for no, but they clearly tell him no. Then he looks at the tracksuit people and he goes, blah, 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 blah. And in very fluent, what sounded like Italian, he speaks to them and they tell him back in Italian, no, thank you. Oh. And then he turns to me and he goes, hey, partner. And I go, how do you do that?
Oh, no. How funny.
Like he's just nailing where people are just by the way they're dressed.
That is pretty hilarious. That is funny.
He was brilliant, Caroline.
Wow.
You must have had some wild stories with people in Paris.
Well, I had wild stories, but a couple of years ago, I'm going to get into a cautionary thing now.
Oh,
I was walking down the street in Saint-Germain de Prés, in the first Rue Saint-Honoré, and guys that looked like policemen. I was with a French friend. They say something to us in French, and they want us to step off the street into a side area. And I say no because they looked sketchy to me. And my French friend was thinking, let me talk to them. I said, no, let's go. And they were trying to scam.
Wow.
So you do have to be careful about people trying to take advantage.
I saw underneath the Eiffel Tower, it was the first time I ever saw the cup scam being somebody being taken advantage of. Somebody won twice paying for $1. And then the person successfully said, let's go bigger. Let's go like $20 or 20 euros. And and I was even standing there going, you shouldn't do this. You totally shouldn't do this. And of course, where the first two times it looked really easy, all of a sudden the money was gone. And the second the person won the 20 euros, they were gone. It was wild to see it right on the sidewalk outside of the Eiffel Tower. But besides that cautionary tale and mine notwithstanding, I've always had the feeling Paris is a pretty safe city. Would you agree?
I do. They don't have the problems with shootings that we have here, and they have a lot of police presence, and they have a lot of cameras. So they are very safe from the major stuff. You just have to be careful about the scams. And people grabbing your phone. Never put your phone down on a cafe table outside. Someone will grab it. That's a very common thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you've been kind enough to have a giveaway for our adventurers that can help them on their trip to Paris. Tell us how you can help, because this is super cool.
I have a 12-page handout on packing tips for Paris. And all you need to do is go to my homepage, carolineoc.com, and just put in your email and you'll get the packing handout.
And this is comprehensive, Crystal. Did you look through it?
No.
Oh, there's everything. You even have a picture of your friend in Paris who's dressed to the nines, looks like a native.
Yes. Christine, she dresses very well. She's actually Australian. But the point I make is you want to fit in, you want to feel good. So take the nice blazer, take the nice little cami to wear underneath. Wear nice black jeans or something. Don't wear the tracksuit.
Right. Because people think you're Italian.
That is so
funny.
funny.
Well, yeah, and you want to feel like you're part of the show. Yeah.
That is fun.
Culture.
I do have to say, I love it when I go places and people think that I live there. It always gives me a little thrill when I can barely speak the language.
Ask you for directions.
I'm hanging on and they're asking me for directions. Yeah. It's always fun. CarolineOC.com. And we will link to that in our show notes, by the way, and then on social media. The music's coming up because it's time for our big reveal
Yes.
of our gear of the day. Crystal, what was your clue?
My clue was that this one is it's a tool, a travel tool that will save you hundreds before you even leave home.
Wow.
Before you even leave home.
Well, it sounds like a book that somebody might have written on this topic. If only, Caroline, somebody had written a book like that.
You're right, to save money on accommodations.
Yes. Tell me that book exists, Caroline.
It does. It's called Affordable Paris Hotel.
It's my lucky day.
It is a Travel Smart mini guide by Caroline O'Connell, our friend. And your friend, too, if you're listening.
I have to say, you two are fabulous.
Well, thank you.
You too.
You are so much fun to hang out with. Thank you for that.
We were so thrilled, Caroline, when we reached out after we first heard that this book had just come out this summer.
Yes.
I was so excited when you agreed to come on and join us, because Paris is just talking to you. I want to go back right now. Let's get on a plane and go back right now.
I'm ready.
Agree. Let's
I'm
take
so
off.
ready.
Yes.
Affordable Paris Hotels, a Travel Smart mini guide. And by the way, I like what one outlet said about it. It's that the travel guide is like hanging out with your travel savvy friend. And Caroline, you're definitely our travel savvy friend.
Agreed. Thank you, Caroline. Really,
thank you so much for mentoring us today.
It's my pleasure. And I'm looking forward to watching more of your shows.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And adventures. Now it's up to them, Crystal. You know what? Everybody, if you're new to the show, you don't know this. In about a month, we hear about your Paris adventures. So we're going to have a whole episode where we hear your story. So, John, tell us about gorging yourself on Italian snacks in the middle of Paris. A tiramisu. We want to hear more about that. Or MFC about visiting all the churches. Which churches did you visit? Tell us your story. How do people do that, Crystal?
Yes, please head to stackingadventures.com/mystory, and you can tell your story in 5-minute snippets. We want more than 5 minutes too. So record the first, you'll be like, hey, this is part 1. And then record, and then you can hit us with, this is part 2. We'll even take you up to part 17. We just want to hear from you. So head to stackingadventures.com/mystory to tell your story.
And we'll have a link again to Caroline's book in the show notes, but it's also going to be part of our Gear of the Day picks. These are books and authors and creators that we have curated for you, and much more often than the few creators that we have on, there is a lot of gear that our adventure community has tried. There's so much junk out there when it comes to travel related stuff that you truly don't need. That's why we have our Gear of the Day store. And where do people find that?
Yes, at stackingadventures.com/GOTD.
All right, she's Crystal.
And I'm Joe.
Let's go adventure.
Woohoo!